Hi guys, today I wanted to go over just the basics of 3 common poses in yoga. How these videos are going to work is you will hear me kind of talk about the pose and do the pose, and then I will tell you to pause the video and you'll have a chance to try it for yourself and fill out your journal about how you felt about that pose. So we're going to start with downward facing dog, which is kind of like the home base for your practice. You probably heard me say that before, but it is something that you'll do probably in most yoga classes that you will ever attend. So it's important to make sure that it feels nice in your body. When you do down dog, the goal is for your body to be sort of like an inverted V shape, so I'm gonna get into it. When you first arrive, especially if it's early, like it is now, you might feel tightness in the legs and in the shoulders. So it's nice sometimes to pedal out your feet or to shift onto your toes and then drop your heels. In this pose, you want to have your heels as close to the mat as you can get them, but if you have tight hamstrings and calves, you can always keep your knees bent. Also, a lot of times people will complain about discomfort in their wrists when they do downward facing dog. And if you're experiencing that, press harder into the space right between your thumb and your index finger. And that's going to shift your weight into the stronger part of your forearm instead of the weaker, bonier part. Also, you can play around with the placement of your hands. So you can have your fingers pointed straight forward, or you can play around with like turning your hands outward just a little bit so that you get a more external rotation in the shoulders, which means the shoulder blades should feel like they're spreading apart. One last thing about this pose is that sometimes people will dump into their shoulders like this, and this is not great for your shoulders. So instead of dumping down and pressing your chest towards your thighs, pull yourself forward a little bit and then spread the shoulders out wide so that you are feeling a little bit of work in the shoulders and not just dumping down into them. When you're here, make sure you gaze back towards your thighs and start to find your breath in and out through your nose. And that's it. So now go ahead and pause this. Try it out and journal your responses. All right, next pose we're going to do is a regular just standing forward fold. So you can come anywhere on your mat if you're using a mat today. Turn your feet to face forward and be hips distance apart. Hips distance is the width of 2 fists in your body. So you can take 2 fists and put them between your hands, and that is, or between your feet, and that is hips distance. And then once you find that, a forward fold is literally just folding over your legs. If you look at pictures of people doing yoga poses, they'll often have their legs super straight. That comes with time, so know that if your knees are bent, it's perfectly normal and okay. You want to allow your spine to curve here and allow your neck to feel relaxed and soft. So sometimes I like to take opposite elbows and sway a little side to side. You could also add a shoulder stretch here by bringing your hands to your low back and taking your fists towards your head. You can add twists in both directions in your forward fold. Just kind of playing around with what feels good to you in this pose. One thing that is a helpful tip is that a lot of times when people are in their forward fold, their weight, like mine is now, goes back into their heels. And what that causes is my hips are way far behind my ankles, and that's not really what I want. So to get rid of that, I'm going to shift into the balls of my feet a little bit more so that my hips stack more over my heels. And then you have a more stable alignment. The other thing that goes with a forward fold is a halfway lift, so you can play with this too. When you inhale, bring your hands to your shins and try to flatten out in your back. And you want your back to be super, super flat, almost like a table that people could set things on. You really pull your shoulders away from your ears. Look down, but out in front of you. And then you just exhale to fold back into your more relaxed forward fold. So take a pause and try this one and see how it feels. Journal your responses. Okay, last pose for today is Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Both of these are part of a Sun Salutation A, which we do almost every class. They are just variations of the same benefit. So if you come down to your belly, just let your legs go behind you, tops of the feet are down. I'm gonna start with Cobra. So from laying on your belly, bring your forehead all the way down to the mat. Bring your hands right underneath your shoulders. Then as you inhale, keeping that length in your neck, you're just gonna start to peel your chest up off the mat. And this is a baby cobra. So shoulders relaxed back and down, they're rolling into their shoulder sockets. There's not really any weight happening in my hands. So I can still pick up my hands if I wanted to. All the work is coming from my low back and also my glutes. So make sure that you're activating the glutes as well. Neck is staying nice and long. When you're ready to come out, you just gently lower down. So that's baby cobra. That's the one I would probably start with. And then you could add on different variations. So the next one is a fuller, bigger cobra. And that is just the same situation. So find the length in your neck. And then as you inhale, put a little more weight in the hands, lift the chest a little bit higher. And you can stop anywhere along the way. So you can stop with your elbows partially bent or work towards a little bit straighter. Even if your elbows are straight, you still want to have a little micro bend in them so that you don't hyperextend your joints. Core here is engaged. Feel like you're zipping up a tight pair of pants. And also the glutes are engaged. So kind of like squeeze your butt a little bit. You never want to feel any sort of crunching happening in your low back, and if you do, you need to lower back down towards a gentler cobra variation. Then when you're ready again, you just lower down. All right, last one I'm going to show you is Upward Facing Dog. This is sort of the most advanced version. So hands right underneath the shoulders again. Inhale to lift the chest, and then this time you press into the tops of the feet and also start to lift the fronts of the legs. Then pull the shoulders back and press the chest forward. So in this one, it's really important that you press into the part of your foot that's right where your toes and your foot attach. Because if you don't, you'll start to have pain in your knees, which I actually had when I started practicing yoga. And it's because I was pressing more into like the part of my foot closer to the ankle and not closer to my toes. So when you do this, I'm gonna show it again. Really make sure that you're pressing right into the part where your toes and your foot come together. And then again, a little micro bend in the elbows. Press through all of the fingers and relax the shoulders back and down. And when you're ready to come out, you can lower the legs, or you can flip the toes and find your down dog. All right, so go ahead and pause and journal your responses for any variation of cobra or upward facing dog or baby cobra. And that was the last pose for this week, so that's it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.